Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith. My face is a little bit sunburnt because I was at the pool for a long time today, Keith. All the same to you. Thank you for being here. Welcome back. I hope you're ready. We got a pretty good stream set up. I've got several assets to look at. We've got to talk about the thumbnail and what that means for us. What am I trying to say by putting that thumbnail out there? What is that supposed to mean? What am I talking about? So we'll talk about that here in a second. We'll talk about some altcoins that I think may have made some progress. We'll see. We'll talk about it, right? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not exactly sold, but I do feel a lot better about it. Thank you for joining me. Welcome, everybody, to Crypto After Dark. If you haven't done so, please go hit the like. It costs absolutely nothing to hit the like button over here. Let's drop some jazz on them. And there we go. You know what? It didn't do. There we go. Bam. There's the jazz. If you haven't done so, hit the like. Go hit the notification bell. Please follow along. If you're watching on X or over on Rumble, give us a follow, right? If you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe, man. It's free. It costs absolutely nothing. What do we do here? We do data only. We do charts nonstop, 24/7, 365. Charts are our life. Charts are the data behind all of our decisions. They are feelings exclusive. They don't care about feelings. They only care about facts and money. That's what we found that works the absolute best in this world. You'll not see any other BS on here. Not from me anyway. I can't really stand when I see a bunch of other BS and people. So, I try my best not to. Let anybody kind of confuse me on what's what. You know what I mean? So, I try to keep it real with everybody always. Let me drop a comment on the thing here live now. There we go. Bam. If you guys are watching over on X, dude, give us a retweet, right? Give us a repost. Why not? It's free. It costs nothing. And I'll be able to better say hey to everyone. I'll make sure I didn't miss any requests here. And it looks like I got them all. That's cool. I'm glad I got them all. I didn't miss any. Pop that back out right there. And we are back on the regular side. Shout out to the rest of the world here, brother, for Happy 4th. Thank you there, Ron Poteet. Shout out to everybody on 4th of July. You guys are watching on July 3rd, the day before 4th of July Eve. I know it's a holiday, but hey, the market doesn't stop. The market was open partially today, and we're going to talk a little bit about what I see, what I don't see. I'm going to start with Bitcoin, but I'm not going to start with the chart you see right here in front of me. What I'm going to start with is Bitstamp, and I'm going to explain a little bit of basic market structure here for you so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. All right, good. Before anything else, this channel is an educational channel, all right? We want people to learn what we're looking at, learn what we're talking about, learn what we already know, what most people simply want to deny. Most people don't believe that charts are real. They think it's just astrology for men. Most people think we're just making this up when we come on here and do this, and it's just fluff, and we don't really understand what we're talking about, and it's just bluster and bullcrap. And I got bad news for you folks, it's not. Everything we do here is data-based and math-based. We want to keep it that way on purpose because we don't want to get lost in our feelings or what we think or what we hope or wish. We've learned over time that charts are rather ruthless and rather accurate when you take away the feelings and you just stick to the facts. So I've got some candles here on the chart. I've got some lines drawn. What do they mean? What is a candle? What does that even what is that supposed to mean? Or candle? I don't understand what that means. Well, candles are a representation of where this particular asset is Bitcoin, where we started and where we stopped, right? Let's break this down for everybody real easy. Candlesticks are a representation of each day when you're on a daily chart. I'm on a daily chart right up here at the top. You see right here when you go to your intervals, you can hit the little drop down. And there's many, many, many intervals. You're going to see me on daily, weekly, and monthly, mostly on here. I like to stick to the high time frames because they're easier to look at and easier to represent an overall sentiment on what's going on in the market. You don't want to get down in the low time frames. It can get washy and you get lost. So each candle represents one day. Where did it open? Where did it close? And what happened all in between? That's what the candles are each day. And because we see what happens with each candle each day, it lets us better understand what may or may not be happening. Y'all let me know if I got static this time. I bet you I don't. I bet you we got no static this time, which is weird because I don't understand why, but it is what it is. I bet you we have no static. If we have a green day, we see the green candles on the screen. That means we closed higher than we opened. The market closes every single day at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, daylight savings is 7, but 8 p.m. Eastern is when the market typically closes. All right, so when the market closes, a new candle starts. That candle can either start at, let's say the dollar value is 1, right? Market stops at $1 and it restarts at $1 at 8 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the evening. From there, it has a choice. It can go higher than $1 or lower than $1. Depending on where it starts and stops, lets us know the beginning of the candle, the open of the candle. And if I zoom in here, get it in there real tight, pause.
Pause.
You guys are waiting on me to say that. Depending on where it opens and where it closes, lets us know where the candle starts. Open is the bottom and close is the top of a green candle. It's just the other way around for a red candle. Open is the top, close is the bottom for a red candle, all right? Obviously, if the price opens lower and closes higher, she turns green. Just the same way around for red. What are the wicks? Well, the wicks are the little things hanging off the top and the bottom. That lets us know all the action in between the day. At some point here, this big green candle was red because it came down right after opening. But shortly after that, she popped right back up and made a big green candle, closed way higher. And you can see here that we actually went way higher than where we closed, right? Up there is the wick that we formed, right? And we actually closed down here. Now, this is pretty typical. Look back in history just a little bit here, and you'll see pretty much every single candle has a wick on it. It's typical for wicks to be formed every single day. It's a normal, everyday, common occurrence. And we use these wicks also to help us determine where the price may or may not go. Obviously, for an uptrend, we want to see more greens than reds. Obviously, in a downtrend, you're going to see more reds than greens. We've had a long history here of reds, all right? Especially if we go to altcoins, which we'll do in a little while. This is basic candle structure and basic candles, what they mean and what they represent. We can, now that we know how a candle works, start to add in other implements to see what may or may not be happening. For Bitcoin here, for the last, how long? May 22nd till now, we've been in a downtrend. We've been making highs and then lows and then lower highs and then lower lows, and still now lower highs and maybe a higher low. We're not exactly sure of that yet. Now, on a closer time frame, this is a low and a high and a higher low and a higher high, right? But the problem is we have to zoom out a little bit and see the bigger picture. While we do have a breakout right here, which is excellent, that is a line amongst the top of the candles right there, where you can see they're closing a little lower each time. That's a downtrend. We seem to be breaking out of this now, which is awesome. Now that we're breaking out of it, that red line is a little bit null and void, but I'm going to leave it there because I want to see it play out the rest of the way. But this bottom line is now useless, and we can draw an uptrend line. So we'll put that at the bottom and we'll draw it up. And for an uptrend, we can make that green because it's good for green. As long as we stay above this green line now, we're good to go. This thing can just dance if it wants to and go over here to the right and hit the line. It can go up first and then come back down and hit the line, however it would like to do. What we don't want to see is we don't want to see it fall back under the red line, fall back under the green line, and then give us more of this crap, right? Where it's just consolidating, aka going sideways with no real place of stopping. We'd much rather see that not happen. We'd much rather stick with our uptrend. But this is extremely encouraging. Not only is it encouraging that it broke out of this and we got a little bit of red behind it, and yesterday we got a test right on the top of that trend line. That's wonderful. If we add in any of our indicators, basic indicators like the 821 EMA, which is the green and purple line right there. And again, you can click on indicators right here and type in 8,21. And you'll see many, many choices pop up. I use the 81321 EMA right there. I just take the 21 away in the settings. Also, as part of our Discord, wap.com/team786 down there at the bottom, we have free indicators in our Discord. All you have to do is download them and put them into your trading view. We even help you out if you need help putting them in there. They're here. These are all our, personal. These are all the ones, not all of them, but some of the ones that are coded and in our Discord that we use. I have a couple of these on mine already loaded up right there. Assassin's 3 for 1. It's 3 indicators built into one. Why would you do that? Well, Sometimes indicators take up more spots than you have available on your trading view on your plan that you're using, right? It's free, but if you pay for it, it knocks the ads out, but you only get so many spots for indicators over here. So it takes 3 spots up and puts them into 1 spot so you don't use all your places, right? 821 EMA, we're over both of those. As you see, just the other day when we were live streaming this on Tuesday, it didn't look this good. But in the time of that, it popped up and got over and was excellently closed exactly where we wanted to see it, right? Actually, this is the red candle from Tuesday. That red candle right there on Tuesday. Things started looking bleak, right? The very next day, bam, she pops up and starts moving well again. Not only did we jump the 821 EMA, we jumped the 50 moving average. And the 50 moving average is like a good, easy, thank you, Sal, a good, easy, clean filter that kind of helps us see price action and see what's going on in a nice, smooth fashion. By the way, you guys over on YouTube, I see several people watching and not very many likes, man. Y'all go hit like, bro. It costs nothing. Hit like. It's free. It's free. It's free. I got the echo working. All right, so I'm happy and I'm encouraged about the price action here. I like the breakout. That's a basic breakdown of simple candle logic and simple trends. It's very important to understand this stuff, and I don't want you to think I'm just spewing nonsense up here just to try to get you to listen. This is the way logic, and every single pro does it. They know exactly how candles work, and they're already watching before you are. A little deeper into Bitcoin now. I'm going to stop recording this little clip, and we'll go into it more. I record those little clips so I can repost them and make new videos out of them to help be educational and give everybody some knowledge of what we know, so all you guys have a better leg, to stand on. What I'll say on the rest of this is, back to our James Wynn conversation. Boy, what an idiot that guy is.
Damn.
You make us chart guys look bad. Let me record this piece too. People like James Wynn make chart guys like me look bad. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you come on here and do degenerate stuff and you can see the chart and you still do degenerate stuff, you see the chart doesn't look good and you bet against it. You see the chart looks good and you bet against it. And then you complain that it's someone else's fault. No. That's female logic. We don't do that. Take accountability for your mistakes here. At some point you did pretty well, right? And then you turned on yourself and started blaming other people for your mistakes. Unacceptable, brother, unacceptable. You had to have been good at some point to make the money that you did. So I'm not going to sit up here and call you stupid or incompetent, because I don't think that's the case. But what I will say is you're wrong. And instead of admitting that you're wrong, you're doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down. And this is giving you a bad name, but not only that, because you're a big account, it gives people like me who are a small account a really bad name. Like, I don't know what I'm doing at all because I don't have the numbers you have. Now, if I was to be a degenerate and act a fool on X and post all kind of stupid stuff about these crazy leverage plays and I took all these backroom deals and stuff, oh boy, then I'd have tons of followers. I'd have tons of followers and I'd make tons of money. But it would be on the back of all y'all, and I can't stand that stuff. So let's stick to what is factual. So far, the chart. As you see, 2016, 2020, and then now, there are not many people showing you this chart around. Now they're going to show you some other charts, but they'll be on linear mode. They won't be sized to scale correctly, and they won't be side by side like this with the data all laid out in front of you. The lines that you see that are horizontal lines, those are horizontal Fibonacci retracement lines. These lines show us retracement up and down, and they give us percentages on the way up. So again, it's mathematical and data-based and not emotional-based, right? This helps us get a better feel for what's going on, know what was happening ahead of time, and be able to make a better decision, all right? As you see, we're back over this 1272 fib. The number doesn't matter. Just know that it's a take profit fib, and now we're fighting back over it. Fighting back over this is very important because this leads us into being able to attack the next leg up, which is 125 to 135, somewhere in that range right through there. You don't have to be perfect with this, but 125 to 135 simply makes sense. This level's been hit every single bull market before, and we're not far from it now for what it's worth. We are 16% away from this level. All right, not far away at all. It will get to this level. It will get there. And I just realized my camera's in the way, but I'll drop it off for a second. You can see there 2020, pretty much identical to 2016. I got green circles there if you kind of be able to see. They're not perfect, but they're close, right? I'm not saying that they're perfect, but they're kind of echoes of each other. So again, I think we do get up there. I got some more data I'll show you and go a little bit farther with it. All right. So here's the monthly chart, month to month, for the last 4 Bitcoin cycles: 2012, 2016, 2020, 2024, side by side by side by side. Fibonacci lines all placed out. I have a white arrow right here to mark where we are in each cycle from the past cycles. So white line, as you see, look at the date at the bottom. That's July 2013. That's July 2017, 4 years. That's July 2021, 4 years. And this one over here, July 2025, 4 years, right? So month to month, look how close they are. And I'm not saying they're perfect, but I want you to look at the similarities here and see how similar they are and understand that this is not me making this up or playing a game here. This is all very, very similar. It's an echo. Again, not the same, just an echo. Good news is certain levels have been hit each time. Those levels are the 1272, the 1414, and the 1618. Same thing over here. Same thing over here. And now look at us right here, 1272. 1414 coming up, and I got a lock level put on 1618 because that's another level that's been hit every cycle. Now, kicker here, what didn't happen last cycle? We did not go into the upper level extensions up here for a blow off top. It did happen in 2012. You see it up there. It did happen in 2016. You see it up there. It did not happen in 2020. Now, you can make up any reason why you think it didn't happen, and you're free to believe that and do whatever you want to with it. Not on me. I don't really mind. Pick out whatever you want to do and say about that. Thing is, it didn't do it, but it did get to the 1618. That's what I got level over here, 1618. I think that level gets hit still. That level's about 175 to 185-ish. We'll see how long it takes to get there, and if it does get there, I think it will. We just have to be patient. Could take all the way till the end of the year for that to happen, and I wouldn't be too upset if that happened because that means we make pretty good money. All right, cool. So whenever you see someone who says that the 4-year cycle is dead, thank you, Rug. Whenever you see someone say the 4-year cycle is dead, simply show them to this and show them that the data shows it's not dead. You feel like it's dead. And I'm sorry, folks, but I don't do feelings. All right. I got the chat box pulled up. Please, everyone, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, where you've seen this at before. Shout out to Cody Kensel. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Happy 4th to you. What's up, Alvin? Jerda Cup. Hey, Alvin, by the way, brother, we're half off in the Discord right now. Sign up and get your stuff together, brother. Half off, $8 a month. It's free for the first month, then $8 a month after that. 1 cup of coffee, 1 Starbucks coffee per month is what our Discord costs. And you'll be around people who'll keep it real with you, keep it straight with you, and not bullshit you, all right? It's very, very important to understand the whole crypto space is full of horse shit. It's very, very difficult to find people who are on your side and don't want to necessarily just screw you over to make an extra buck, all right? It's very, very difficult to find that kind of thing. I dedicate over 14 hours a day to this, all right? I'm talking to everybody that I can. I try to answer back to every message that I can. I hope you understand that the opportunities come few and far between, and I want everybody to make the most of them. That's the best way to put it. Sometimes showing the new people bar chart instead of candles helps them see. Yeah, but another problem is with bar charts is it's another thing that people have to learn, right? And the problem is the more you throw stuff at people, the less they want to listen. I've unfortunately learned that along the way. So I keep dropping little tidbits in piece by piece. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Khalid Balouche in Brentwood. Brentwood, bro. Okay, how you doing out there in Rich Peopleville?
Gotcha, bitch.
I know where Brentwood is. Thanks, OJ. Cryptic Moon, good to see you, brother. Thank you from the UK. Of course, we got Rug on here. Shout out to Rug, one of the OGs. Love to have you in the Discord, by the way, Rug. If you're not in there now, let me know, brother. You're one of the OGs. I'd love to have you talking and commenting more. I miss talking to you a lot, brother. You were one of the people who kind of helped me keep my head straight when all the stupid shit happens, and I appreciate all you guys for doing all that. Ron Poteet, shout out to Ron, bro. Over on X, we got Oxbutts. Good to see you. Sal, what's up, brother? Sal, give us a repost, Sal. Give us a repost and shout out and tell everybody come hang out and watch. We'll get into a bunch more stuff now. We're going to get into some altcoins and stuff. I got another couple things I'm going to show you, but first, let's do Bitcoin dominance. All right, here's weekly Bitcoin dominance side by side. I'll drop the chat box off for a moment here so you can see it a little bit more cleanly, and I'll drop the camera. All right, here's our last bull run. And at the last bull run, here is our halving line. We had halving. Once halving happened, we had a little bit of up with Bitcoin, and then altcoins really took off because Bitcoin dominance fell off. And Bitcoin dominance is a representation of how much money is in Bitcoin versus everything else in the crypto world. You see it fell off real hard right there around that red line in 2021. Problem, the same red line that we got over here right now, same time, space, same cycle. And I just showed you that the cycles all line up. Here you go. Cycles line up. Difference is this time Bitcoin dominance simply has not let go. It's slowed down, but it has not let go. You see the red line? You see the red line? Alt season, and we still haven't had an alt season. We've had a small little blip of an alt season, but nothing that really captured us and really got us moving. So how about Bitcoin dominance on a daily chart? Well, let's look. Here's Bitcoin dominance on a daily. That was weekly what I just showed you, a higher time frame. Be careful here. Bitcoin dominance still hasn't let go. It's still in the wait a minute zone. What is the wait a minute zone? The wait a minute zone is the area between the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA. That area right in there is an area where we don't want to make a decision yet because it could go up and it could go down, and it's too risky to make a play in either direction. That being said, this bitch has been overbought and overbought and overbought and overbought and overbought and overbought and still hasn't been oversold. It hasn't been oversold since December. 6 months straight she's been up. Are you kidding me? And I know we had a little blip in here, but boom, it took it right back over after it had that little blip. You have confluence of down here. MACD rolled over. RSI losing strength. All right, how about the pivot lines? Here's the problem, right? Even after it shows some down here, it's got support at 65%. So even if it slows down, it's got support to do the same thing it did back here when it had that sharp move up. This crap right here, when it said went back up, it could do the same thing again. If you don't know what pivot points are predetermined waypoints along the line. There's support and resistance lines along the way. And the P, pivot, this one kind of determines bullish versus bearish. Obviously, for this to be the scenario that we would like, we need this to be under the pivot line. It ain't there yet. Get there, fall under that pivot line, fail this 821 EMA, get under it 2 times. And once that gets under that 2 times, it may very well be more realistic to be in other stuff than Bitcoin, because you may see more gains in everything else aside from Bitcoin. Now, I'm still heavily in Bitcoin. Most of my money is there, a large majority of it. Now, I did put some altcoin money over and start buying stuff recently. All my buys and sales are posted, wap.com/team786. Shout out Jeremy. Give us a repost, Jeremy, and let everybody know to come hang out and watch. The more people who repost this, the more people see it. And if you guys do it, I'll repost your repost stuff, and we'll keep the repost chain a-going. I got you, Crypto Joe. Thank you, brother. Sal's got it reposted. Anybody else who's watching, just give us a repost, give us a like, man. Let the world know we're on here. Let the world know what we do. Let the world know how we keep it real. And we don't got no time for no BS, brother. Peter Navarro, good. What's up, brother? Good to see you, my G. How you been? Oh, shout out Zach. He is on Discord. Thank you. Awesome, brother. Well, shout out and talk some more on there, dude. I'd love to talk to you throughout the day and stuff. We're both family men and stuff. So, I mean, I just miss y'all OG guys. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people didn't make it through all the mud. I hate that, but I want to see people get. I want to see people get back and make it through. You know what I mean? So let's talk about some other altcoins real quick. Like, how about we start with Ethereum? Great. So it's been a real hardcore struggle for Ethereum to get over this 200 moving average that you see right here, this red line. It's been a real struggle. But guess what, folks? She's over it now. Boy, was it really a fight. But finally, just out of there, bam, she pops up, makes that move on Wednesday after we did the stream on Tuesday, second day of the month. She makes a very aggressive move with a bullish engulfing and gets over the 200, the 50 moving average, and the 821 EMA. What is a 50, 200? What is all that? Well, the red line is 200 days added up and divided by 200. That gives us the 200-day moving average. It's also a very, very stingy line. When we hit this line, it tends to cause hiccups. It tends to make things slow down and stop and not really want to pick up and get going, all right? Happens a lot. This thing acts like a magnet. When the price gets to the 200 moving average, it has a hard time getting away from it. And as such, you see that on the chart. Doesn't really want to break out and go just yet. It's trying. And I really, really like the moves here. I like the big volume on these green candles here that kind of dig us up out of the hole, and it's still respecting these lines along the way. These lines act as rolling support and rolling resistance on the chart. Yes, it would already be able to count it and draw it out another way. These give us a quick, easy reference to see it and know, hey man, this is coming or this isn't coming. And I'll show you a bit more about that in a minute. But I'm very, very pleased with this thing getting over the 50 and the 200 and the 821. It's over all the moving averages. It's got some work to do to clean them up. We would like this 100 moving average that's way down here. We would like it to be above that red 200 line. And as you see, it's nowhere near. Well, that leads me to think that we have more up. Problem. Look, weekly wise, if I go to a higher time frame, we are testing that line right now. This is what I was saying, rolling support and rolling resistance. On a daily, we got over some of the lines. On the weekly, problem, we are directly under those lines still. So this is what worries me and makes me think Bitcoin dominance is not done yet. Bitcoin dominance may have another push in it. And if that's the case, you're going to see all these altcoins struggle to get through resistance and have their big push. Now, I will say this. I'm curious if some of these coins end up taking a little bit longer and go out into 2026 a little bit, especially altcoins. If they don't go out into 2026 a little bit like we saw last time, if you really remember, we went all the way into March with some altcoins still kind of popping. Even April, I think. It might have went all the way to April. Altcoins were still kind of popping and still kind of going. And they continue to do pretty darn well. If that's the case and that happens, well, we'll still have an alt season. It'll just be a little bit later and Bitcoin will have stolen most of the thunder until then. Ethereum, I've got high hopes for it. I'm still in Ethereum. I still have a pretty good position in it. I sold some of it, got some of my money back out because I thought it was a bit too risky to sit there and watch it go sideways because let's be real, it is still pretty darn sideways. But improvement has happened and I'm very happy about it. Keep it up. I think we can run back to this $3,000 range. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to get there, but I think it's going to get there. We just need to wait on it. Waiting for crypto gods to bless us. I totally agree, Peter Navarro. It's been hell, dude. It didn't say you reposted it yet, Jeremy. Hit the repost and it'll ask you, do you want to do a quote? Do a quote and say, come hang out. And I'll see it pop up for me if you do that. Because I don't see it over here yet. I'll be able to repost your repost and then we'll repost more reposts. Shout out to people watching on Rumble, bro. We're never going to have a bunch of watchers over on Rumble, but I appreciate you guys being the alternative watchers over there. That's really cool to me. All right, so we got some more we'll look at. XCN was requested. XCN we made very good money on. Gosh, when was it? The beginning of 2024? Or it was, yeah, beginning of 2025. End of 2024, beginning of 2025. It had a hell of a ride. And I think we may see something like this again in about the same time frame toward the end of the year. We may see some of these altcoins really pop off and run, which was my thought we'd be able to do before. Now, if you'll notice this, what I've got drawn here, yeah, we can look at peak. I'll do it after this in a minute. So you see this big uptrend we've got right here. It's got a big wedge going on, big uptrend. You've got this downtrend that continues to chop along, getting pinned down, kind of holding it up. Doesn't really want to get moving just yet, but it's still technically okay because it's over the green line, the big uptrend line. Now, warning, look, you're under all of the moving averages. What I just said, Ethereum was over. Gosh, nose is itching. I got lint or something flying around. What I just said, Ethereum was over. XCN is still under, kind of pinned down and keeping the price from really moving like we want to see it, right? So, unfortunately, it's going to have to get over these moving averages before anything awesome happens. I think it can do it, but for me, for now, it's still technically no thanks until I see a little bit better. That could change very rapidly because that's been happening after I do these live streams. I'll do a live stream, and then just as soon as I'm done, market pops up and runs. Makes me look like a total fool. Par for the course is what it is, but I think some of these are going to do it, but just be very careful. This thing is right on the edge of no man's land. It could go either way. And because it can go either way, I don't want to put a bunch of money in it or commit to it. You know what I mean? It's hard to commit to something that doesn't look as good as I think it should look. All right. We'll record the next one, which is Velo, USDT. All right. Velo is on a bunch of different exchanges. We already made pretty good money with this one. We found out about this one in 2023. Then I had someone else in 2023 come in and say, Velo is one of my #1 buys. And I was like, why? Had nothing to do with the chart. It was all about emotions. Good news is I'm already in this one. All right. I already rebought this. I bought this for a couple reasons. Number one, I like the support from these moving averages. Again, you remember me saying rolling support and resistance. Well, that's exactly what we've had show up so far. Held this line after it jumped over, big bounce off, and now we got a couple red candles up here, but that's not the end of the world. The other reason I bought it, the Bollinger Bands were tight and moving sideways, right? Went ahead and said, hey, we were near the midline. Go ahead and let me get my buy-in. I went ahead and bought. All my buys and sells are posted in the Discord, wap.com/team786, right down below. It's half off with a free month. It's free for a month. No worries. You can leave at any time and it'll cost you absolutely nothing. What's to lose? All right? Okay, what's to lose? I like the Bollinger Bands getting tight, but I'll warn you, it didn't quite break out of the Bollinger Bands just yet. We want to see it get over top of these Bollinger Bands, which means he's ready to break out and run a little bit more, but I do like the improvement. I like the fact that it got over the pivot line. You saw earlier some of these were under the pivot. This one's still over it. It did hit R1, which is resistance level 1, so it's going to maybe slow down a little bit here and wait while the rest of the market perhaps catches up. This is a holiday weekend. I will, though, Illuvium. ILV. I'll look at that. It should slow down and kind of chill while the holidays happen here. The whole markets are closed. And another thing that we've noticed is markets are moving more similar to TradeFi now, to regular financial stuff like stocks, bonds, and equities. We're starting to see some cryptos kind of move like that. And very few alts here or there, up and down. Sometimes, randomly, we see things pop up and go. It just doesn't happen enough. So I like Velo here. I like what we see. It may still take a little bit, and if I flip to weekly, you'll see what I mean. All right, here's weekly. Now, our pivot line is still way up here at almost 20 cents. So I think that's our next target range. That's about 50% up from where we're at. If I put the moving averages up here, you see a problem form. We're under the 50 weekly. We'd like to be over that. And look at that 200 moving average coming down extremely aggressively. Does this thing come up here and hit this 200 and get pinned down? Does it come back up here to the 50 fib and pay me my money? We'll see. I'm a little confused on what it may or may not do. I don't want to make an overreaction and think about this in the wrong way and think I've done something astronomical and I necessarily haven't. I'm going to give this a little bit longer to play out. I've got a pretty good buy. I've got my stop loss set, so I'm not super worried about it. Give it a little bit and see how it plays out. For now, she looks pretty good. And I think red coming in here would be buying opportunities, not freak out opportunities. Andrea Anascu said, in the Discord, the Assassin's watch list score, which longs are you watching, Keith? I know you mentioned BR, HSK in the last live stream. Are there others? Yes, I look at that every single day. Now, I can't pull it up right now because we're in the middle of a live stream and I got a bunch of stuff pulled up. Let me actually close some of this stuff. Why is Steam open? I hate when that happens. Cancel. Exit Steam. There we go. I don't know why all that always pop up. But yeah, I looked at a bunch of them the other day. Let me actually pull it up on my El Telefono real fast. All right. So let me find the top of the list. So here's what he's talking about. We have an automated service in here that automatically finds the longs every day and the shorts every day, scores them and ranks them alphabetically and by score. You want to see the highest score possible. Obviously, the lowest score possible would be the biggest shorts that happen. So some of them I noticed were Venom, XDB, Hi-Fi, obviously Velo's on that list now, BNB, FIDA, FIDA, ICE is on there, JTO, what else? Fury, and that's about it, because then the list starts getting a little thinner. So things are only just now starting to pick back up and get moving. I'm happy to see it though. That's just one part of our Discord. We also have an AI bot. You can send the asset over to the AI bot and ask it, and it'll break it down and tell you what the AI thinks automatically for you. You know what I mean? You don't even have to sit and guess. It'll give you a heads up and let you know. I think this looks good. I think this looks bad. Peak, P-E-A-Q. All right, so this one looked good. I need to make a mark on that. I write down what I'm doing, by the way, everybody. I encourage you to do the same. Write down what you see. And when you write it down enough, you start to learn that you're keeping notes of what you're doing. And you start to make less mistakes when you write stuff down and you think it out a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's see. So Peak recently jumped up and made a big break over the 821 EMA. Then yesterday came right back and bearish engulfed it. Be careful with these low caps like this. I do like the volume that it had coming out of that, but I don't like bearish engulfings at the bottom. That's worrisome. If you look at the weekly and zoom out a little bit, this is still technically a no, even though you've got a bullish engulfing. You have a spinner candle right here at the top, and a spinner candle at the top means you very well could reverse back down. You probably need to wait a couple more days and let it make its mind up and figure out what it wants to do just yet. It's close, but be careful. Because of that, it's probably a warning shot, and it'd be very, very risky to do something too silly. Illuvium. Shout out Rug. All right, so technically still in a big monster downtrend. You see that right there. She hasn't jumped the line just yet. It is inside the wait a minute zone. That's in between the 8 and the 21 EMA. So just wait a minute. All right. Not quite time. Close. Getting there. Not there yet. Almost. Once we get over through this and we get over that trend line, everything changes. We run to that 50 moving average or that 100 moving average. Those will be our short-term targets. Some of these low caps may take a while to actually do their thing. This thing is so far down. Look at when I bought this back there. Glad I sold that. I sold it up here where the red line is. Let's go. I'll pull this down here some more though. Back through there. Yeah, she's in a rough spot. So it's going to take some time to try to dig its way out of the hole. Technically, I wouldn't even want to add to this yet because it doesn't look good enough. I would need to see it get an 821 cross and maybe even challenge the 50. Some of these are so far down, they're too risky for me to want to take a bite on. This one's another one I would wait on just a little bit longer. All right, Tia. All right, here's Tia. So I recently purchased Tia in the last couple days. Why? Well, I'll show you why. I like the double bottom that it formed out. If we come out on the weekly here, while we don't have a buy on the weekly, what I do have, if I drop this 8, if I drop these moving averages off, if I start from back here and I pull up, we have a sniper's alley catch right here with a couple pretty good weekly candles in a row. All right, what I'm seeing here is a weekly reversal plus a weekly hammer candle. This made me go ahead and buy part. Once I got part in, I said, hey, now what? What do you want to do? You want to buy a little bit more? I said, I bet I will. Buy a little bit more. So I went ahead and did it, right? Technically wise, what do we got? We got an 821 jump here. Now we're sitting on top of the 21 moving average after a couple good green candles. I don't think it's out of the water just yet. It could very well reverse back down and get kicked in the face a little bit. I can check bond in a minute, Grace, no problem. Do me a favor, Grace, retweet this and put come hang out and watch with your retweet. Quote it, and let everybody know, and I'll quote yours, and we'll do bond. How about that? That's all I ask. You don't got to pay for anything. No problem. Do me a favor, Grace. Sorry, I'm talking to myself out loud. When I click off of that, that's what happens. But I'll take that and I'll spin that around, and we'll get it charted. Let me write it down so I don't forget. So it very well could reverse and come back down to this 8 EMA. I'm okay with that. My stop loss is going to be down here underneath the wick. I think I'm at 130 even, or 129.9 or something like that. I wrote it down in the spreadsheet. My spreadsheet portfolio is all there for everyone to see in the Discord as well. I'm still up over 100% right now, so I'm not mad at all. Some of these altcoins are just now recently starting to work their way back around into the green. Very happy about that. But baby steps, okay? Baby steps. I like this, but it's worrisome because some of these altcoins may not do it. This is why it's very, very important to tiptoe through this and not do too much, okay? Baby steps. Don't do anything too crazy. Don't make a decision you're going to regret. If you're going to take a chance, maybe take a small chance, not a humongous chance, right? Maybe make it a baby chance. Maybe take steps like, hey, I'll buy a little bit now and a little bit more later, or I'm going to buy a part now and I'm going to wait on some more technical stuff to give me a better market to do more later. That kind of stuff's the safer thing to do. All right. But I like the upside here if we've hit an 886 Sniper's Alley catch. Name of our Discord, by the way, is the 786 Assassins for a reason. All right. If we come from the top and we pull it back down, this would lead us out toward the end of the year, which is when I think a lot of altcoins may stop or may get their run. It's also possible we go farther than that, but I'm not banking on that. If TIA gives me anything here and gets me back to the 50 moving average on the weekly at 380, that's still a very good gain for me. That would be 165% gains for me. I'd be tickled pink about that. I'd love to have 165% gains right about now, wouldn't you? Go ahead and tell me you wouldn't love that. As crappy as crypto's been to us recently, you would be head over heels if you got 175% gain, especially without having to do it in the mud. All right. Let's put the comment box back up there for everybody so you can see your comments live. And like I said, I try to interact with every single one of them. I also like this to potentially get up here to the golden pocket, and that's even more gains for me, but I'm not going to bank on that yet. I think this will run back to resistance. I think a lot of them will run back to resistance. We'll see. I like the upside. That's why I took the chance. How about Ori? All right, let's do Ori. Now I'm already in this one as well. I already went ahead and rebought. I'll tell you why I went ahead and rebought. Same situation. You got a double bottom here. Let me start over again. Ori, I already went ahead and rebought. Here's why. Double bottom on the weekly, as you see. Not only was that a double bottom on the weekly, but if I go to the daily, I drop these moving averages off and I just do candles only, which is what a lot of people what a lot of y'all say I should do, right? I get it. If I just do candles only and I pull a fib on this, we had a perfect 786, 886 Sniper's Alley catch right there. It's exactly what I wanted to see happen. Demonstration. Perfect right there. Excellent. Now that you bounced up and you made it back through Sniper's Alley and got through the golden pocket, now we're working on an uptrend. So I can remove these fibs and I can go the other way with it. Now we're retracing upward. Same high that we started with. Now we're going to drag to this new low down here. I'll pull it out here. Here's the only hang up, right? We haven't gotten through this dotted line yet. Close, but not yet. I like the fight. I like the wick that it's throwing. Now we put the moving averages up there and you'll see a few things that we tagged the 50 fib. I don't like that. We ran into these moving averages and slowed down. Well, that's kind of disheartening. I wanted to see it do a little bit more than that, but we're over the 821 EMA. And if we close anywhere in here today, we're going to get our 821 EMA cross closing on the 4th of July. I'm here for that. That sounds pretty darn good. I'd like to see it come back up here and fight those moving averages and potentially get through them. We'll look at another asset here in a moment that's already done that, and I want to see all the assets do that, but I mean, we're not in control of that now, are we? 200 moving averages coming down very aggressively if and when we break these moving averages. This 200 moving average will be my next target. Somehow or another, I figure this is going to end up being over here in Sniper's Alley. We'll see. I'll make a pretty good lick off that if it does. I think that's about 75 or 80% from my buy line. I would be more than happy with that if that actually happened for me. And I like the upside if I go to the weekly. All right, pull this off, move this. If we're looking at just price action, here's resistance, right? Back to resistance from here is a solid almost 100%. Not bad, just to resistance. Anything more positive from there, here's what else we could get. I'll grab the high from November, pull this down, and we'll run this out to the end of the year. All right, so if we get up to the 50 fib, that's that same level that I just mentioned, about 100% from here. Excellent, makes me think that's gonna happen. Anything more than that, and we are up into the bigger profits. Golden pocket right here at $6 to $9. Sniper's Alley at $9 to $10. From where we're at now to $10, 350%. I would love to have 350% right now. Could there be some 10, 20, 30 X's out there? Sure. Are they popping up right now and happening? No, they're not. Be realistic. So love to see it happen, but we should probably wait on that one and give it a minute to work its way out, okay? Love what we see. Baby steps. I'm in Ori for the upside. Be careful with altcoins. They can burn you. I'm taking chances. Please take your own chances and your own risk, right? Don't just base it on what I'm doing. Look it up for yourself and see what you think. All right, let me pull up a DEX and I will get us a bun chart going, okay? Give me a second here in the background. Bam. Then daily. And slide her over. Pop. There we go. All right, sweet. So here's bund. Now, technically, we are still falling here and haven't stopped. Grab my drawing tool. We had our last low in March of this year. Made a nice run up. The nice run up that we had was a retrace up, though, unfortunately. We only retraced back up to resistance, which I'll show you here. The 236 fib in linear, but we're not in linear. We're in log mode. So let's go click background off first, and then we'll do fibs in log scale. Here's where you see the problem. We ran headlong into the 50 fib, just like we did on ORI chain a second ago. Only problem is it started failing farther than that after. It broke under that 382, which wasn't good, and it came all the way back to the 236. Now, I'll say this is good that it came back to the 236 and stopped and didn't fall any farther. Now that it's stopped here, we can assume that this may be a stopping point. And if it is, fibs from there up to here, we can look at this and go, hey, how much farther down is it going to go? Well, so far we failed the 236, the 382, the 50, and we're still kind of floating around in between the 50 here and the 618. So it's still kind of in no man's land right now, thinking about it. It needs to find a bounce point before it can do too much more. Even in linear mode, it's down a little bit more to more like $1.08, $1.09, and then we'll see if it bounces. I would like to see it bounce here and take off. What would be my prove it point? Yeah, my prove it point on bundles bets would be if she gets above that blue line right there. Break that blue line, and we're going to get more green candles in the back. This thing's got a $612,000 market cap, only a $21,000 liquidity. So any big moves here are going to make this thing move rather exponentially, rather quickly. It's been bleeding out recently, but don't tell me the moves can't be there, because they have moved just a couple months ago, right? This thing was moving like this. It can do it again. Just needs something to kind of get it moving, if that makes sense. All right, Grace. All right, so we did bond. Now, let me pull up another one for you. PRCL. PRCL, not PRXL, Keith. Don't be an idiot.
Damn.
I know. All right, PRCL. Parcel. It's also available on Coinbase and many other exchanges, which was part of the reason I went ahead and bought back into this. All right. I'm thinking out loud a little bit on this one, but if we've got a double bottom on the weekly, and I think we may have, right? Parcel having a double bottom on the weekly right here would be a big deal. I think that may be a double bottom formation, and I think we may make a W pattern and dig up out of here, make a W pattern and work its way up. I'd love to see that. All right, if we can pull some fibs on this, we'll see some potential stopping points. Now, before I do that, right through here is resistance. That'll be a bit of a booger. Back up to about 13 to 15 cent will be a pain, but I'll also note that that's a 75% gain from here. That'd be pretty good. 75% would be pretty good. If I pull fibs on it from the top here, which was our top in December, and I pull them down, you'll see that we are right against the weekly trend line. And if I go down to daily, you'll see that we are pinned right up against it as well. I need to see a little bit more from you. And remember earlier when I said some assets were already testing the 50 and the 100 moving average that were pinched together? Look at Parcel. Same thing. In an act of perfection here. Bam, straight to the 50-100. I'm already in this for a pretty good penny. I actually took profits today. I actually did rule number 4. Take your profits. Because I'm here to tell you, folks, if you don't take your profits, someone will take them for you. Parcel had a 23% day yesterday. At 19% or 20%, I got my profits. I actually took my profits and rolled them over into TIA, which you've seen me talk about a moment ago, right? Why did it do that? Well, this let me increase my position in TIA, lock in some profits, guarantee a win here, and now that same chart for TIA has gone up too, so I'm making profits on top of the profits. Excellent. It's exactly what I was hoping to be able to do. And I de-risked a little bit from this in the process. Now, can this go up some more? Absolutely. Good thing is I still have most of my money in it. I didn't take the whole position out. I just took a little bit of profits. Please, along the way, everyone, understand that taking profits is essential to what we do. And I'm not just talking about chart guys, I'm talking about investing in general. If you do not take your profits, you never have anything to show for your hard work. There are 4 rules of investing, and we'll talk about that in a moment, all right? Weekly wise, what's the upside here? Well, if we can get to the 50 fib, which happens to be where that weekly 50 is, which is going to be my target, by the way, that's 115% from here. I would love that. Can we get more than that? What if it goes up to Sniper's Alley from here? That would be excellent. That's 450%. What if we get silly here and this thing breaks out and runs to the take profit extension fibs? 1,600, 2,300, 4,600% gains if it can do that. Now, I'm not saying it will. I'm saying that's the mathematical possibilities if we get up there and we have a big alt season. Don't bank on that. It's possible, not probable at this moment. Good news is the daily's got a decent setup. The weekly's trying to fight over some resistance and make a little bit more gains. I'm here for it. Baby steps, working in the right direction. Let me see what else. All right. We did Velo. We did Ori. Rio we can talk about. Actually show you on this one too. I'm already rebought into Rio and I've got multiple fib sections pulled up here. It looks a little bit confusing, but there's my average price. As you see on the daily, if I show you the daily here, it's a little bit easier to see, but just like Velo, right? Where we see it bouncing over the moving averages, making a push. Same thing happened with Rio. I had already bought 2,000 and I made a rule for myself and said, when it comes to Rio, I'm not going to buy anymore unless it closes and shows me it wants to get over the 50 moving average, which is the yellow line there. Sure enough, Rio closed over the 50 moving average. That went ahead and told me that I could put the rest of my money that I wanted to get into this one in. And here we go. I'm all the way in on this one now as much as I want to be. I'm not going to put any more into it. I like Rio's market cap. I like the chart, and I like the fact that I'm looking for lower market caps if I can, because they have an easier chance to multiply. That doesn't always come true though. But I want to see if most coins are in circulation and they can't really be manipulated as much, like minting and crap and people holding money in wallets and stuff like that. That stuff sucks, and I hate to be a part of that. But I went ahead and have a stop loss on this one as well. I'm only going to lose limited money on it max. I refuse to lose a bunch of money on this stuff anymore. So targets for me, obviously the 200 moving average is bearing down very, very aggressively. And if I flip this back out to the weekly, you can see that the 21 EMA on the weekly is kind of pointing down right there. That's going to be my first target. Obviously, I'd love for it to get to the weekly 50, which is way up here at about 60 cents. Rio at 60 cents would make me very, very happy. It's fallen off so far, so aggressively. I would love to see this thing fight back and get all the way up here. Obviously, that would be amazing. On the way up, I'll be charting this one as we go. As I'm in this asset, I want to be very, very, very particular and very, very careful about it. I'm on your guys' team. I hope we have some gains in here, but don't get ahead of yourself and think things can work out, because they may not, right? Always remember, be ready to cut the bait if you need to cut the bait. Be ready to walk away if the time's right. Don't get stuck in an asset because you feel like, all right? That's a recipe for disaster. Now, stop this one and we'll go to something else here. That was the right way to end it. Come on, Rio, you can do it. That was a better way to end it. Ha, I'm an idiot, dude. I know. So check it out. Earlier, you heard me say there are 4 rules to investing. It's very important that you understand the 4 rules of investing. What are those? Rule number 1, when it comes to your money, there are no emotions allowed. None. Zip, zero, nada. What are emotions for? Well, things that we love. We love our family. We love our sports teams. We love our homes. Sometimes you love your job. Sometimes you love your hobby. Be passionate about those. Be loving, be hopeful. But when it comes to your money, it's all about how much you can make, not about what asset you might love. Because I hate to tell you folks, these assets don't love you back. They actually hate you. They just want money from you. Okay? So be smart about it. No emotions at all. None. No feelings, no emotion, strictly data. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, before you buy anything, have a plan. What do I mean have a plan? Well, what are you going to do if you buy it? Are you going to hold on to it forever? When are you going to take profits? When are you going to make anything for it? How long is forever? How long is forever? Should you really be holding on to anything forever in the crypto market right now? It's probably a bad idea to hold on to anything for too long, maybe aside from Bitcoin. What's your plan? Well, I kind of tell you guys my plans as I'm doing this out loud so you can understand it, right? So no emotions, have a plan. Rule number 3, have a backup plan. What are you going to do when things go wrong? Right? It takes step 3 to get to the point where we say, what do we do when something goes wrong? Well, honestly, that's what stop losses are for. When you see idiots like Caroline Ellison come around and say stop losses aren't very conductive into making gains, correct, because they stop you from being an idiot and being able to manipulate things. My backup plan is stop losses and converting over to stable coins, sitting back and letting the dust settle if I have to, right? Very important to have a backup plan. But the most important rule for me and the most important rule for a lot of people, this is very, 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 very important, everybody. Take your profits. Because folks, if you don't take your profits, I will take your profits for you. I know that sounds mean and it sounds hateful, but it's the truth. And I'm not the only person doing that. Everybody else is doing that to you. So you better get your piece before it gets gone. Take your profits. You don't have to take them all. You don't have to take 100%. You can come up with the plan, rule number 2, of I'm going to take 1% and then 3%, maybe 17% today, maybe none the next 2 days. And then 3 days after that, I'll get 1%. Whatever. Do your thing. Be smart about it, all right? Don't let anyone fool you into telling you that things are all going to be lovely and wonderful and things are just going to go up. They're lying to you. I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. I don't want to see you get lied to. I want to see you make the most money you can. Please, if you want, you think you got the right idea, you don't know how to chart, you want to be around a group of people who will got your back. Well, guess what, folks? That's us. WAP.com/team786, $8 a month. Forever, as long as you're in the Discord. First month's free, no risk at all. If you don't want it, you can walk away and leave after the first couple days. So totally up to you, no obligation, right? You can walk off and leave, and no one's going to say anything to you about it. I don't want you to. I want you to stay and hang out and be a part of the team, right? I love the Discord, man. That's my life. I spend so much time in there. So your choice. Do what you want. Just remember the 4 rules. Even if you don't like me, even if you hate me, you don't want to listen to me, please, 4 rules, stick to them. All right. Thank you all very, very much for being here. I've told you this before, but you could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me. I appreciate the hell out of that, man. I really do. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It's amazing that y'all, I mean, we had almost 400 people watching this. That's incredible. That's incredible. For some idiot in upstate South Carolina, right? It's amazing. Make the best of your todays the worst of your tomorrows. Make a better day the next day. Sorry, more money. I didn't get to you because we got right to the end of the stream. I didn't get to that one. We'll look at it on the next stream, though, all right? Drop the ticker for me, and I'll look at it on the next stream. That's all I need. Make the best of your todays the worst of your tomorrows, all right? Every day you want to try to have a better day than we did last time, okay? Please, let's work for something better. And last but not least, if anybody else told you today, Keith will tell you, all right? Keith loves every single one of y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all be good. I'll see y'all on the next stream, man. Tuesday, it's 4:20 in the afternoon like we always do. Sky's the limit. I'm out, man. Y'all be good. Peace. Bye.